civil society. And let's get straight into it. Now, in our top story for today, the U.S. Congressman Riley Moore has hailed recent American airstrikes in northwest Nigeria as a first step towards ending the killings of Christians and restoring security in the country. Now, the strikes conducted in cooperation with the Nigerian government targeted Islamic State-linked militants in Sokoto on 25th December 2025. Now, Congressman Riley Moore says this is the beginning of a broader effort to tackle terrorism in the region. But the question many Nigerians are asking is, can foreign airstrikes alone solve Nigerians' deep-rooted insecurity? And is framing the violence mainly around religious lines really telling the full story? Now, good afternoon, like I said, and happy Boxing Day. Joining me in the studio for our conversation for today, I have with me Mr. Ugochukwu Afoba. Good afternoon, Ugochukwu. How are you doing this afternoon?
Good afternoon. I'm doing very well. I'm great in the spirit of Christmas.
Yes. How is the Boxing Day treating you? Don't box anybody this
I've
morning.
punched one or two persons today.
Okay. Who be that?
One guy I saw outside was just felt like
All right.
celebrating Boxing Day.
All right. That's great. Maybe I'll be boxing someone after the show. Now let's start off with the attack that was conducted by the U.S. militants yesterday, 25th December 2025, while the residents of Sokoto State were asleep. The U.S. striked. And this came as a result of the constant warning the U.S. president has sent the Nigerian government that if they don't stop the insistent or consistent attacks on Christians in Nigeria, that he's going to send or come guns a-blazing, and that the attack is going to be vicious and sweet. And we could see that according to him, he said that it was a perfect strike. We'll start with that, but I think we've already had this conversation in the morning, but I just want to have your take on Riley Moore, because he said that this was in collaboration with the Nigerian government. And I'm seeing on social media by a lot of activists and a lot of Nigerians are saying that Nigerian government don't actually have what's it called, prior information about this attack, that they are just trying to make it look as if the US involved them in carrying out this particular activity. But let me get your take. Do you think that it was a collaborative effort?
Yes, I agree. I think that it was a collaborative effort. I just feel that our hate for Tinubu's administration has blinded us so much that we do not even want to hear anything good about his administration. I feel that's the problem we have, because I do not know how the United States, I do not see how possible it is for the United States to actually perform precise strike action in Nigeria without the Nigerian government's approval. It would be very difficult, and reasons are plainly simple. First, without the consent of the Nigerian government, it would be difficult for them to get a precise strike. They can, of course, still strike, but a precise one will be difficult. If they do not have the coordination of the Nigerian government, they might end up, bombing or striking down civilian areas, and you understand. So these are some of the reasons why I've believed that, and I'll continue to believe that this was a collaboration. And even there was a post the president made, I think that was yesterday or on 24th, when he was wishing Nigerians a Merry Christmas. And that message, he tagged the United States president, although before then, the reason was vague to me. I didn't understand why a Nigerian president would be tagging the United States president in a Christmas message he's wishing Nigerians. But I think now it makes more sense. I will continue to agree that it was a collaboration.
Okay. Now, the U.S. Congressman Riley Moore is saying that this is actually the first step to curbing insecurity in Nigeria. And he said too that the airstrike can actually help in killing to stop the killing. Sorry, the airstrikes could actually help in killing the terrorism or the terrorists in Nigeria. But like, I'm seeing a new development right now from the residents of Sokoto. They confirmed the attack, but they recorded that no person or no individual was lost during this attack. And like I said earlier, that the attack came at night when people were, resting, people were in the eve of the celebration, and they've confirmed that nobody has died, or they haven't witnessed any loss of property or the rest of them. And I'm just going to ask, with this new development right now that we have, according to the US president and his cohort, is saying now that it was actually the enclaves of these terrorists that they bombed. But we are seeing now from the residents of Sokoto now that the community that was bombed is actually a secure area, that it was not infiltrated by insecurity. So are we seeing more like, I'm seeing something skewed here? Do you think that the person that maybe gave the direction for this bombing or this airstrike didn't actually give the direct location of this particular terrorist enclaves?
The thing is that everything is still unclear now. I have seen pictures in circulation of an empty field that was struck by by the United States. And some of these pictures I am seeing just shows that the places that were bombed or that was affected was actually just an empty land. And I've also read that those places were not prone to attacks by terrorists. But like I said, things are still unfolding. I can't give a general take on it or an overview right now, because I also expect to see names, about the terrorists that have been killed, because we know how the United States usually operates. When they were having a similar issue in Gaza, whenever they eliminated persons, they will tell you the names of the people that were eliminated, their leader, how many of them, but we've not seen such in Nigeria yet. They've just said that they performed precise military actions on some particular, on an area that they call the terrorist zone against ISIS, ISWAP, and I think one other particular terrorist group. So I can't say anything clear now, but I feel things are still unfolding. I hope by the end of today, or at most tomorrow morning, we would have gotten the right information, and now we know what to say about those things.
All right. Perfectly said. By the end of the day, we'll get more updates on the strike. Now, in other news, prominent Islamic cleric Sheik Gumi has sharply criticized the airstrikes, calling them polarizing and harmful to Nigerian sovereignty. Now, Gumi argues that bombing militant targets alone will not end terrorism, and that Nigeria should instead explore alternative partners such as China, Turkey, or Pakistan, now countries he describes as neutral and less politically charged. Now, he warns that framing security operations in religious terms risks deepening divisions in an already fragile country. Now, Nigerians are left to weigh foreign intervention or local-led solutions. And now, we've seen Sheikh Gumi constantly, every single time we'll talk about terrorism and bandits in Nigeria. He came out one time to say that these bandits are actually his sons, because I wouldn't say that they are our sons or they are my brothers. They are not, actually, because if they are, they wouldn't be terrorizing communities and, taking lives the way they do. But he said, according to him, that this is his children and that they should be protected at all costs. Now, we've seen this new development now, the airstrike by the United States, and he's come out now to criticize the United States involvement in Nigerian sovereignty, and he's saying that this will harm Nigerian sovereignty. And I'm just going to ask, do you think what happened, the airstrike, the US strike in Nigeria, terrorist enclaves, is actually affecting Nigerian sovereignty?
Not in any way.
Your take on Sheikh Gumi's comment or statement?
Yes, not in any way. I think Sheikh Gumi he's just a sad terrorist sympathizer. That is what he is, because I do not know why you constantly continue to defend these people who take people's lives. I do not know. There is I've always said that life is precious. So for you to take someone's life, you deserve for yours to be taken as well. Exactly. And these persons, they do it in they do it in such a brutal way. They just treat human lives as worthless. So I am happy to see Sheikh Gumi very sad this way. I am very, very happy about it. And I do not know why anyone in their right senses would actually be against these strikes. You know, it is something we've always looked forward to, the elimination of these terrorist groups and a peaceful and livable Nigeria. That is simple. So I do not know, so for some elements, people who are actually not happy about these strikes, it only means sympathizers of terrorist groups, terrorist activities in Nigeria, or they just plainly hate Nigerians and human lives. And like I've said, I am very, very happy to see Sheik Gumi sad like this. More strikes on his brothers.
More strikes on his children, not his brothers,
sons.
though, his sons. And now he said, according to him, that this strike could be religiously polarizing. And I'm just asking, because he said that Nigeria should find a way to collaborate with neutral countries like Pakistan, Turkey, China, and the list goes on, instead of the US. And I'm like, how is
Pakistan
that's what I want to ask. How is
Pakistan,
China, and Turkey a neutral country? Let me just get your take on that.
Like I've said, Gumi is nothing but a joke. He nothing serious comes out of his mouth whenever he has talked about these things. I am just wondering how the government is just leaving him. In fact, they hold meetings with him, press conference, and all of those things. How is that even being possible in Nigeria? I believe that when things that could affect the state is happening, that the government should have a way to censor it. I will continue always to use Show as an example. We used to remember times whenever he made a comment against the president, they will be quick to pick him up and try to destabilize the man and take away his freedom of speech. But then we see someone like Gumi, who is always saying things that could cause division in our country, but they still leave him and even allow him to grant press briefs and all of these things. So from what he's said, we will understand that he's not even making sense, because Pakistan is not a neutral country at all.
Exactly.
Pakistan is their religion is Muslim. I think you can even call Nigeria a neutral country because Nigeria practices both Islamic religion, Christianity, and even they allow traditional religion. But in Pakistan, it is just Muslims there.
Yes,
so I do not know how we can be saying some of Turkey also has a higher population of Muslims in it. I'm unsure about China.
Okay.
So we've seen that he has nothing meaningful to offer. And
yeah,
like
I was really asking how he got his facts or his data that China is actually a neutral country as regards insecurity, because we know that China has been milking Nigerians. So I'm like, yes. So how are they a neutral country? But there was another thing that he mentioned. He said that Nigerians should actually call for local solutions over foreign intervention.
By local solutions, does he mean by what do I call non-kinetic means, negotiating with those bandits? That man is he's a joke. I've said it. How can you be asking for local coordination in things that are serious as this? Are the people in the localities, are they the ones who are going to put an end to these terrorist attacks we always have in Nigeria? They are not. They do not have what it takes to do it. This requires confidence. It requires courage, because you will be criticized, like we are seeing now. Some have come out, to push different narratives. It needs to be bold and precise. These persons, we don't need people like me in the locality. I cannot offer you anything other than information, but the action is supposed to be taken by the government. They should be heavily destroyed.
Exactly. Now I'll take the pulse of Nigerians on this Sheikh Gumi's comment. Now, Catalyst say, how did they miss this man's house during the airstrike? How did they miss the man's house? Now, some other person said, which clean hands? Why is this man still walking freely? Another person, the General Lord, said, I like as the airstrikes came like a thief
In
in
the
the
night.
night. And another person said, how did this guy escape the bombing? And another person said, Gumi's stance is pure garbage. He spent years shielding bandits and jihadists, begging for amnesty while they kidnap kids and slaughter villagers. Now he's whining about clean US strikes that killed ISIS killers with zero civilian death and full Nigerian approval. His sympathy for terrorists is sickening and dangerous. Nigeria needs to crush these monsters, not listen to his enablers. Now, somebody said, Gumi, now God go punish you.
No, now I will punish you.
Another person here said, Dora HSN said, using religious standards as a basis for how a government should act is appalling. Nigeria is governed by a constitution, not the Quran or the Bible. I think that is quite apt. Nigeria is facing a lot of insecurity. But before I take a comment, my personal comment on this issue, I would like to read a tweet by Shore. Now, Omoyere Shore has taken to social media to criticize the federal government over the US airstrikes. Now, Shore argues that relying on foreign military power threatens Nigerians' autonomy and could inflame public distrust. Now, his criticism highlights a key dilemma. How does Nigeria fight terrorism effectively without appearing dependent on foreign powers? And clearly the debate is heating up between urgent security actions and long-term national sovereignty. And I'm just going to read his tweet directly so that Nigerians can feel his pulse, because this has garnered a lot of tractions on social media. Now, according to Shore, he said, I have read the reports that the United States government launched attacks on Nigerian soil on Christmas Day, as announced by at real Donald Trump and the U.S. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, purportedly targeting terrorist groups within Nigeria. Now, although the Nigerian government now claims it was aware and describes the operation as a joint effort with vague international partners, it is evident that the strikes were carried out without the genuine authority or informed consent of the weaklings masquerading as government under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu at official bat. And he said, my position remains unchanged. Judging by the nature of the confirmed strike on a village in Sokoto, it is clear that the US president, under whose authority this operation occurred, neither understands nor genuinely care about Nigeria or Nigerians. Now, it is deeply troubling that Nigeria, Africa's most populous nation, lacks the capable and sovereign leadership required to protect its people and its territory, and as a result, the country has been reduced to a bystander while its sovereignty is violated under the direction of the US president. I'm just going to stop here because there's more to where this tweet is coming from, but I'm just going to actually this question. Now we're seeing a lot of reactions from Nigerians. Now we've seen Sheik Gumi coming out to make a statement, criticize the airstrikes by the US, and now Showore and other people, the militants, have equally weighed in on this sweet what's it called, response by the US. And I'm just going to ask, why is it that Nigerians are having serious divided opinion as fighting as to this as regards fighting insecurity in Nigeria? Why are we not having a united what's it called, unanimous agreement to end these banditry attacks?
The reason for their diverse opinions could be a different things. To start with, Nigeria is a country of diverse cultures and traditions. We have over 250 ethnic groups, so it would be difficult to get 250 different ethnic groups to agree to one thing. And like I always say, people are entitled to their own opinion.
Exactly.
But opinion does not separate what is fact. It does not make facts, it does not twist the facts. A fact is that something is this, but then your opinion is that this is good, but the way it happened was not good, and you are entitled to that opinion. And right now, the fact here is that the airstrikes on the terrorist groups were needed. They needed to be stopped by all means, because these people have been causing so much harm to Nigerians, to the average Nigerians, because they are not getting to the rich, they are not getting to the political class. So that's why most times it looks like they are unbothered and unperturbed about some of these things. So the fact is clear. It is that we have people who are terrorizing Nigerians, and they need to be stopped. As I put it in the morning, they need to be annihilated. So for Showore to come out and have his own opinion, that is good for him. I do not agree with him. Same thing with Sheik Gumi, that he has that particular one has always been speaking. I don't know who he has been speaking for. Maybe if he's the spokesperson for these terrorists here, he calls
his sons.
So their spokesperson. That's it's expected.
Yeah.
But then the fact remains that we have terrorist groups who are terrorizing Nigeria. And yes, to some point, I agree with Showore that this a single strike will not end the terrorist activities we have in Nigeria.
Yeah, that was what I wanted to ask, if it is deterrent enough.
It won't, but it sends a clear message. So what would happen is either that these terrorist groups, they go back and regroup and come back stronger, or it sends a message to them that the Nigerian government, and maybe in collaboration with the United States, is coming to hunt them, find them, and kill them.
All right, well said. Now, I'm just going to make a quick comment on this. I think Nigerians are actually bedeviled by serious, complex security problems, from farmer-herder clashes to communal disputes to what's it called, Boko Haram, which now skyrocketed into ISWAP, and a lot of attacks. And it's so sad that for over more than decades now, tens and thousands of Nigerians are losing their lives every single time. Not just lives, people are losing their properties and their communities, their businesses, and the rest. And I remember one time when Riley Moore visited Benue State, the IDP camps. After the visit, he kind of decried on how many Nigerians are in IDP camps in Benue State only. He said over 600 of them. Now, this is just Benue State. There are a lot of Nigerians that are being displaced, scattered all over because of insecurity. And it's so sad that we're having bad aid treatment, we're having non-kinetic approach towards these terrorist attacks. And it's equally sad. This is people's lives, these are people's properties, these are people's children. I saw one particular attack where a child, his head was macheted. I'm like, how do these people go about this attack with no human conscience? It's something that really honestly need to come to an end. And I hope that this 2026 and this attack by the US will be serve as a deterrent for these criminals. I think this should be more like beginning, like I said in the morning, for healings, and at least 2026 will start on a fresh page of, lives being secured, properties being secured, people going to farm and coming back, whole. I think 2026 should actually be a new beginning of insecurity, and be security free from these terrorist attacks. But moving on to politics, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has inaugurated a conflict resolution strategy and mobilization committee for the All Progressive Congress, the APC. Now, the move comes as internal cracks begin to show within the ruling party ahead of the 2027 general elections. Now, chaired by Yobe State Governor Mai Mala Buni, the committee is tasked with reconciling aggrieved members, calming rival factions, and keeping the party united before the campaign season kicks into high gear. Now, observers say Tinubu's decision reflects awareness that internal disunity could threaten the APC's dominance, especially as the opposition tries to regroup. But critics argue that setting up committees without addressing the root causes of the grievances, such as lack of inclusion, favoritism, and power struggles, may not go far enough. And the question still remains, will this committee truly unite the party, or is it just another political band-aid ahead of 2027 election? Now, Ugochukwu, I believe you've seen the headlines, and I believe if you've not seen the headlines, I've just read it out for you right now. Do you think that these internal conflicts we are having in APC and the president forming a committee, it's is better? It's, should I say, would solve the political problems in the party, or do you think that it would delay them?
Of course, it would solve them. Compared to every other political party now, I think APC is the most peaceful and organized party as of today.
Hmm.
And seeing the president also coming out to have a conflict resolution kind of group just shows how much of a politician he is, how much strategizing he is doing for 2027. I've said it before and I'm saying it again, that Tinubu is obsessed with re-election.
Hmm.
From the one when he was inaugurated in 2023, he has been working towards being re-elected again in 2027. So some of this just shows you how, like I said, how good a politician he is, knowing, being self-aware that internal conflicts can actually make your party crumble and make things slower. So we've seen how good he has been in trying to solve those political issues, even though we wouldn't say that he's as good in being a president. Yeah, so this uh, the group they have now, it's, of course, it is to help solve issues in their political party.
All right. Now you're saying that Tinubu is quite a master strategist. Maybe
Indeed.
Nigerians are thinking otherwise, and a lot of Nigerians are asking if this is actually the appropriate time for him to form a committee. Because I'm seeing the list of committees. I'm seeing Hope Uzodima. I'm seeing a lot. I saw Sim Fubara included there, and I'm just going to leave this particular topic for next week when we have Mr. Sacramento and probably Mr. Ladimeji, so that they can throw in their weight on this, because I was surprised to see Sim Fubara, the governor of Rivers State, involved in this committee. But I'm just going to ask finally on this particular topic now. Do you think that come 2027 that we are seeing party unity in APC, or like I said earlier, are we seeing this particular what's it called, divide in APC still fostering?
Like I said before, APC is the most unified party in Nigeria now. I have not seen any political party presently that is as organized as the APC. We've seen how the APC is so organized, how they do whatever they want to do. Take, for an instance, in that should be Osun State, the state of Governor Adeleke,
Mm.
the APC candidate for the governorship election in that state, it was a unanimous decision. Everyone, it was a consensus. There was no election. All the other aspirants stepped down for him, for the person, I don't know, maybe the person the president wants to be the candidate there. And this just tells you how unified they are. They agree on whatever that has been discussed. And the opposition should look from them. When you have a structured system, I've continued to say Tinubu is doing very well as a politician. He is organizing his house. We've rarely seen issues where people are actually agitating from inside his camp. We rarely see that. But in the opposition, everywhere you see internal conflicts that is just, you know, uh, causing more injury to the party. So, like I said, the APC is unified, and come 2027, I feel they will continue to be unified from what we've seen from the past up until now.
Okay, but is this a misplaced priority? Because I believe that the country is bedeviled with insecurity. Do you think that this is the right time for him to form this committee?
If I should speak, I don't think there is any time for him to join in his political engagements, because when you belong to a political party, you can have conventions. You wouldn't tell politicians not to have convention because the country is not doing well. The only thing I'm saying is that APC, as a ruling party who has the president, the Senate president, and the majority of the senators, they have a bigger role to play, which is making Nigeria a good country, making us actually get to actually being the giant of Africa that we are called. Because since the president is from APC, he has a responsibility, and we've seen him filling in that responsibility, but getting a distinction in politics.
All right, all right. Well said, Ugochukwu. Now, let me recap our story for this afternoon. So, the US airstrikes are hailed as a first step against terrorism. Now, Now, Sheik Gumi warns against the risks of foreign intervention, and the civil society voices like Showeri call for caution and local solutions. Now, Tinubu setting up APC Conflict Resolution Committee ahead of 2027 election. Now, in all this, Nigerians faces a delicate balance, the need to neutralize militants now while building sustainable locally led security for the future. We'll continue following this story closely. I'm Ifoma Oji. Thank you for watching Aside Hot right here on Active Citizens. Till we see you next week for more updates. But do have a lovely and wonderful Boxing Day.